Welcome to Stories Behind the Frames, a video series that will expose you to new artists and take you on an artistic journey. I'm your host, Dave Petty, and I'm thrilled to have you join us. Through my years at the Frame Center and my time spent in the South Shore art scene, I've had the opportunity to make many relationships with so many talented artists. Inspired by these connections and a wealth of untold stories, I've decided to share these conversations with you. The hope of Stories Behind the Frames is to show you new artists, the interesting artwork they create, and what a thriving art community we have here on the South Shore. Kjeld is a super creative guy. I love his energy and his outlook on art. Well, I've known Kjeld for a number of years, and I feel like we've had a number of great conversations about art and how to bring more eyeballs to the South Shore's art scene. Awesome guy, and I'm really glad that we had this conversation, and like a lot of the conversations, I know that this is just the first of many to come. Got back over here, finally, had a chance to see Kjeld again and have a word with him since the podcast. We got the Jaws show in the background, which I think was like a super cool show that you are just wrapping up now.
Yep. It ends tomorrow. It's been a week already, which is crazy. It feels like you were just here 2 days ago. But it was an amazing show. There's still some amazing art left. Some people bought some pieces and took them off the wall because they were... sometimes I ask if people can keep them on the wall for the duration, but then do I want to lose a sale if somebody's like...
No, exactly.
I need this for a gift tomorrow. So, we sold a couple ones that were for gifts, and then there are still some with sold stickers that people will come and pick up after, but...
Yeah, I think it was... the turnout was amazing.
Turnout was crazy. It was, people were circling the parking lot for parking spots.
How did the folks at Kennedy's take it?
Good, I guess. I haven't heard much, so
no complaints.
No news is good news. yeah.
The hell are you doing?
Exactly. A woman who was working that shift, she came in at 6. They closed at 6, and she's like, "I'm going on vacation. So just make sure everybody's out of here." I'm like, all right, that's all I got to do. Perfect. So
what time do you finally get everyone to clear up?
Well, people left once the cocktails and appetizers sort of started cleaning up. It wasn't like I had to push people out. I got out of here after cleaning up at like 7 o'clock. So there wasn't too many stragglers. Staying late, closing time. It was a good time. 4 to 6 seemed to be a good time.
It seemed. I think it was like super well attended. Everyone I talked to thought they were having seemed to be having a blast. They were excited about the whole concept.
Positive feedback all around. I'm like, I don't know. I should have taken more notes, like on how to repeat this. But it was like lightning in a bottle. The weather, just this theme. Everybody loves Jaws.
What did did you just wanted to do a themed show to get a lot of other artists involved in?
We did exactly. We did 2 shows. We opened up here 4 years ago, and we had 2 shows. One was with Becky's work, Becky O'Toole. We have a lot of her paintings here, and she sold her Jaws piece. First one to sell on the show. And then we had a theme, just the theme was blue. And then we had a bunch of artists, a lot who participated in the Jaws show. And then COVID hit. That's not the plan. My plan moving here was to have, more crowds, more people, not, 6 feet apart and 3 people in the gallery. But this is our first post-COVID show, and I love movies.
Yep.
And I've always wanted to try and tie my love of it's been big inspiration, like cinematography. And, so I'm like, let's see. So much Jaws stuff is on Facebook and the internet. It's like there seems to be a never-ending supply of people supporting Jaws, and the 50th anniversary is in 2 years. You gave me the idea of, like, I said I wanted to do a Jaws show every year, and you're like, yeah, Jaws 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Right? And that's 4 years right there. So, and I love the movie. I love Spielberg. I love John Williams' music, and I figured, why not? It's the 4th of July. Let's do it around that time, and it was perfect.
No, it was. I think it was awesome. I think it was, I think need more,
I'm
more stuff
it.
like that. And I know some of the art associations do themed shows, but like I think gallery, why not do the same? Right?
Yeah, exactly. I think I remember seeing. I think there was a movie-based show in at the Front Street Art Gallery or something a few years ago, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then it just stuck with me, and I'm like, I think I want to continue it. So
the poster was great too. Like, it was,
the poster was fun to do
at the store, and there was a lot of people. I don't know how many, how much if it helped any, but like people were looking at it and were excited.
It was fun to make. I'm like, this is just like everything in my wheelhouse. It's everything that I love: movies, art, designing posters for it, and the catering. Everything was perfect. I'm like, if we can do that again, my goal is to try and do it like at least 4 times a year, every season. But then I'm like, why not every 2 months, every 6 times a year, every 2 months?
You're like me, just trying to take big bites. Right?
Exactly.
Why not just go big?
Don't tiptoe. Just go. Just go all in. Cannonball. But because this one was, I'm like, I was worried. Like I wouldn't even fill this area with art that was good. And then next thing you know, I'm like, I had to hang stuff there. I had to have stuff here. I had to put it on this wall, the wall behind me, and then that white wall, and then the other side of that white wall. I'm like, this is almost the whole upper portion of the gallery. So, and all the stuff is good.
And did you know most of the artists, or did
no? I'd say I probably knew. It's probably 60-40. 60 that I knew, and 40 are just total strangers that saw all the posts and reached out about the show. And
a lot of same way with the faces of the people that came to the reception, or a lot of them the artists, and a lot of
the artists showed up and brought friends and family, and so there was some cross pollination. So other artists bought other people's work. So that's kind of cool. That's like the best compliment you can get when another artist buys your piece. So and then some of the people who have never been in the show sold their pieces. Like that. And like yesterday, this octopus piece behind you, Paige, she came into the gallery last week. And I was like, I'm having a Jaws show. And she's like, oh, really? Oh, that's cool. She knew nothing about it. And she's like, oh, I'm an artist myself and I love sharks. I'm like, let me see your stuff. So she pulled up a couple pieces on her phone. I'm like, you're in. Like, bring those. She's like, you kidding me? I don't even know how to do this. And so she got them framed and bought 2 pieces. There's one over there. Brought 2 pieces and that octopus. And the octopus sold. And yesterday, she came in with her husband. And I didn't tell her it sold until they came in, and they're like looking at it. I don't even think they knew what the dot meant. And I go, by the way, somebody bought your piece. And she was like, well, are you kidding me? And her husband stood there, and he's like, he started to cry. I'm like, he was like emotional. He's like, this is, when somebody buys a piece of art, it's like personal. It's not like you're buying a dishwasher or something. So, and they hugged. I'm like, oh my, are you kidding me? Like, that's, if those are the only 2 people that showed up, and the husband wound up hugging his wife because her art sold. I was like, that's it. That's it. If that's the last show I do, we're good. The best book I ever read, In the Heart of the Sea. And the movie I saw right after I read the book. I'm like, movies rarely hold up to how good the book is. So right after I read the book, I watched the movie. I'm like, this movie's terrible. Because it didn't live up to the book. But I then rewatched the movie again like 5 years later, like 2 nights ago. I'm like, this is a good movie. Like, why was I? Because it doesn't follow everything in the book, but I'm like, this works. So In the Heart of the Sea is going to be the next movie they show. Took place in Nantucket. There's whaling, there's storms, there's ships. So it's got everything that works in the gallery, and I think a lot of artists will have some stuff to take it. I mean, I love whales, I love storms, and I love Nantucket. So I'm sure there's enough material there. I can have my own show if I wanted to. So if we don't get enough submissions, it'll be a lot of my work. But I think we will. I mean, a lot of the stuff can also cross-pollinate to that. Seabirds, there's some seagulls up there and beaches. So.
I think it's gonna. I'm sure it's gonna be another success. When are you trying? When are you thinking of?
I'm thinking like it's like almost August, September, probably early October.
No, I think it's a cool way to get other people in, get other people creating art.
And it just keeps you busy. It keeps you like inspired to do stuff. I know I need I gotta get on it. It's due in like 4 days, I think. There's Out of the Box for North River Arts.
I think it's
It's like due
one of the drop-offs is actually tomorrow.
Exactly. I didn't even start. But I need that spark of like just a little bit of an idea, and then like take it and run with it. So even for me, like the show will make me create some new pieces, custom frame pieces or whatever for the show. I tried to. I was going to I started it. I was going to carve an old oar. I wanted the head of the oar, the paddle part, to be a head of a great white. And then the long stem, and then the handle was going to be the tail. And I'm like, here I am thinking I'm like some master carver, and I'll knock it out. I'll knock it out in a week. And I'm like, I'm nowhere near done. I don't even know what I'm doing. So it's still on the workbench at home. I never got to finish it.
Maybe for Josh too, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'll make 2 of them. So all in all, I can't be any more happy about the show and how it went.
There's a success. You got plenty. The studio's filled too. You got a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, filled up the dumpster. But we have like probably. Untold asked me to be their next artist at their Situate Brewery and Derby Street. So a lot of wall space to fill. So I ordered a bunch of prints related to Situate, and then I just got some shots of Hingham. I never really had any good shots of Hingham, but I kind of did double duty. I did a shoot for Satchel Home Life and Style magazine. They wanted to cover the Maritime Center, the sailing classes and everything, and so I was able to get some shots of Hingham Harbor as well. It worked out. So we ordered some big prints. There's all kinds of stuff scattered around that gallery. So I gotta go and hang those, decorate.
Looks like you have your hands full.
Yeah, exactly.
So we always like to talk about a couple of pieces. Is this one?
One here.
Okay.
I thought I took this one in August, so almost a year. And it's probably our fastest selling image. We've only had it a year, and I've sold, probably 10 large, huge prints of it. And it's, one of my storm chasing images of Situate Light, and I don't know. I would love to get a picture of there's no top on the lighthouse now, so I got to catch myself. This summer I'm like, I'll go to the lighthouse and get some pictures. I'm like, there's no top on it, so I'm not going to be able to. It's a work zone, so I'm not going to get any photos of it. But the next time we see this, it'll have a new top, and it'll be probably shiny copper before it gets all patinaed and turned green. But this was last August, and I'm sure we'll get some more of that this August. But this was a crazy storm. I watched it. I have some more pictures of it from where you're sitting. I watched it come across behind the lighthouse. So I saw it happen. Like with lightning storms, sometimes I get over to where I'm going to shoot, like at the end of the first cliff. And by the time I'm there, it's raining. It's like I missed it all. But I saw the sky. I'm always looking if it's going to be stormy outside. And I'm like, I put a note on the door, like I should have done for you yesterday. I'll be back in an hour or whatever. But I went out and I was there in time, and I watched this. I have some shots of the lightning over the harbor to Museum Beach, and it just moved across, and it was there was lightning going everywhere. So this is a 4-second exposure, and so both these bolts cracked inside that 4-second exposure.
Yep.
You can see, anything that was moving is a little blurry.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's moving, really, the water.
Yeah, the wind was pushing that one around.
Yeah, exactly. And
flag probably.
Yes, and not shortly after this, the storm was going behind, and then it came like over, and I'm like, I should really pack up my shit and get out of here.
Before you get hit.
Exactly. There was one time, and I feel bad, but I might have saved her life. I was there. I was doing a shot, photographing lightning. Jack Foley was there.
Yeah.
Another local legend photographer.
Jack shot my wedding.
Oh, okay, exactly. Yeah. But he was there with his niece.
Yeah. And
she's been the subject of some of his photos in the North River Arts Festival. So she was there and he was there, and we were photographing lightning. And Jack was over on the jetty, and I forgot his niece's name, but I was sort of leaning there's a white fence here. We were leaning on it and talking, and literally her hair started sticking out.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I don't want you to freak out, but usually when your hair does that, that means, there's a good chance that lightning's gonna hit really close. Yeah. And she started screaming, and she ran back to the car. Yeah. I'm like, I know, I remember reading about that. Like, if your hair starts standing up, there's a good chance you're gonna get hit by lightning. Yeah. And it was like, you could see it, like you could feel it in the air. And so Jack came over. I'm like, Jack, your niece's hair was like, it was like she had her finger in a socket. It was sticking out straight, static. And she ran to the car, and he's like, "Oh, thank you." And but I never heard from her since. So I don't know if she hates me, or she thinks I saved her life, or just scared her for traumatized her. Exactly.
Didn't want Jack taking those pictures in that spot.
Exactly. Yeah. Get out of here. I'm gonna get the better shot. No. Right. That's but no, she would hopefully vouch for the fact that her hair was standing straight up. Yeah. Like, we should probably get out of here. You should probably get in the car. And so. That's that shot. And we wound up selling a bunch of these fairly large. Yeah. This one looks really good large. There's so much detail in it. And the larger you go, there's like little faint pieces of lightning you can see that ripple through the sky. Smaller pieces that normally you don't see when it gets a little smaller. Bigger, you can start to see how it fades away into the clouds. Pretty cool shot.
This like storm chasing and getting those lightning shots, is that...
Yeah.
Is there any like learning of that, or is that just you're like?
Yeah, there's
Is it something you studied, or is it like just learned by doing?
It's learned by doing. It's because you have to figure out, like, sometimes lightning happens in the middle of the day. It's bright out, so you got to learn to, like, if I don't have my neutral density filters, which dark, it's like sunglasses for your lens. Then you just got to slow the shutter. The slower the shutter speed, the brighter the picture gets. Yeah. So then you got to crank up the f-stop all the way to whatever your lens goes up to, 22, 32, and that creates a darker image. Yeah. And then my camera will take 9 photos. Yeah. Every time I press the button, it'll take 9 4-second exposures before I hit the button again. So I hit the button, and it'll go 4 seconds, close, and then 8 more of those. Yeah. And I'm like, please, lightning strike. And then when it's done, I press the button again, and you hope that lightning doesn't strike like as you're reaching for the So you wind up taking 500 photos.
Yeah, and a lot of them are just the same.
Yeah, same. So you got to go through them all and see. Sometimes you think you got it and you don't, because it happens so fast, and if it's in between photos. So it's a pretty cool thing to figure out. Plus, you also have to have a clean sensor. Yeah. Because when you shoot at such a high f-stop, everything's in focus, and every little speck of dust on your sensor winds up being apparent in the image. If you shoot at a low f-stop, f2.8 or 1.8 or 1.4, it kind of blurs it out. But all of a sudden, you shoot at f32, you're like, oh my God, it looks like I dragged my sensor through a playground. Yeah. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind when you do that. Sometimes I try to keep one lens on the camera, so I'm not changing lenses too often, and the sensor doesn't get dirty.
And the equipment holds up fine.
Yeah, it started pouring. Yeah. So I'm not going to stay out there, but it's the better cameras you buy, the more weather sealed they are. Okay. it's fine for now. Yeah, I haven't noticed anything happening that makes me believe water got inside it. But it's I've been out shooting storms since, so it's pretty good. I haven't got anything like that though. Book of all my, not all, but about 120 or so my favorite images that we have printed, and this one here. So that's probably it. I don't keep an exact count, but this could be our #1 selling image of all time. And this was in 2018. So there was like 3 storms in March 2018 in a row. Citrus Harbor flooded. Like a lot of businesses closed for their April or March whenever it happened. And we had to close. I know Galley got flooded from that storm. Front Street was flooded. I think Oro was still there. But so it worked out. Even though we had to close the gallery and lose those days of trying to sell images, I wound up getting this image, which winds up being one of our top selling images. So I took this.
I'm like a lot of water. So where are you positioned when you're?
So a lot of people think this is fake, even when they come in and ask, like, is this superimposed and is the bird added? But this was with my 600mm lens and at Sandy Beach, and I was in the back of my truck near the seawall. So if you're looking at the ocean at Sandy Beach, to the left there's a seawall there, a jetty or seawall. There's like a white, almost shed there as well. And I was in the back of my truck, leaning on my roof. So and I'm still like eye level with the ocean. It was that's how crazy high the tides were. This was the day after. It was actually a nice day out. Wasn't rainy, but the ocean was still going crazy. And this is shore break. This wave is hitting the seawall. These were coming in, slamming against the seawall, and then mine is like a mile offshore. So, and these waves, I think I went through 3 batteries. I took like 3,000 images that day. Okay. Because it was just like, every shot was different. Like the wave in front was doing something different. It was rolling, or it was like coming up around it with the wave crashing. The birds were sort of hovering. And then on the TV, we can't show you here, but I have I also took a video of that day. So people were like, that's fake, that's photoshopped. And I'm like, no, I have video of it. You can see the waves churning. This is shore break, and this is the wave hitting it out. And I went black and white with it. People ask if it's in color. There wasn't much color that day anyway, but the water here was so churned up, it was like brown. So it's not very...
And not an attractive.
Yeah, there wasn't much color in the photo anyway, so I went black and white with it to kind of lend a timeless look to it and bring out the contrast. And then the birds were just kind of hovering around.
Yeah, how does that feel? I'm trying to remember the photographer's names. There's a shot very similar to that, and I don't even know what lighthouse it is. And there's the guy standing out.
Yes. There's 2 that people have. That one's in France.
Is that Kjeld, something like that?
Yes. Yes.
That is in France. So you know the one.
I know the photo. Yeah, I think the guy's smoking actually. And the waves just like curling.
Yeah, it's like
is that guy still alive?
yeah, you make it.
And then there's one that the Pulitzer Prize photo of Mahoney light from a helicopter. That took during the blizzard of '78 or something. Okay. People think that's it, but a lot of people go out and get photos of mine with the waves crashing. It's, every year you get something different, but this one seems to be a pretty popular one for us. And we've done it huge. There's one at biggest print I ever did was still at Stellwagen. It's like a wall claim, but it's we did it so long ago. It's probably 90 inches across and 60 inches tall. And they still have it up. They moved it from the big room into the tap room or the barrel room they have in the back. So a lot of people come in and say they saw it at Stellwagen, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens this season too, because there's not much going on at Citrus Light, so I'm sure they're going to get a lot more shots of mine this season.
Yeah, those two of your favorite things to shoot, or aside from your daughter.
Exactly. Yeah, she doesn't let me take as many photos of her now as I used to. She's 15. She's
Yeah.
like, you don't know what you're doing. She's like, your photos are too professional. I need some that are, let mama do it. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
What? Like, we went to St. John and St. Thomas, and Melissa got, the Instagram.
Yeah.
She was on the payroll for taking Kira's Instagram photos. I'm like, all right, okay, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm retired from that.
Yeah. Funny. Now, what do you get for the books?
Yeah, the books are done on demand. So unless I buy, hundreds of them, which it's not affordable.
Yeah.
I can get these printed and sent to me within less than a week.
Yeah.
So we printed about 30 of these during the holiday season and sold out. And we sell these for $1.95.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice thick book. The pages are rigid and it's not a very flimsy book. This one's been through the mill. It's been dropped and
the sample book.
Sample book, yeah. So it's holding up pretty good, but it's been through the mill. But it's a book that I've been 22 years.
Yeah.
22 years of images.
Yeah.
And photo sampling is a Danish word for a collection of images.
Yeah.
And my first name is Danish, so I asked my cousin Lars, who's in Denmark, what's a good word for a collection of images? And so that was one of it, so I figured I'd call it photo sampling. And
you working on another, or are you?
no, I don't think so.
No.
This I went through and picked out a bunch. Unless I get a lot more, I'll add more pages. Like this is probably
you add more pages. Like it'd be like an updated edition.
Exactly, an addendum or something. This image here is probably the most recent image in the book, and that was when they took the top off the lighthouse last year. So that one is the most recent one with the full moon and the bird going by.
Yeah.
And then the two in the back that I took, there's two, these two. I put these at the back. These I took 20 years ago with my Sony f707 5 megapixel camera. The summer I got laid off from my .com job, web designing. So these two images are the ones that started the spark for me, because people saw them and were like, "Oh, can I get a copy of that?" Or, I'm like, "Oh, really? There's something cool here that people like. Maybe I'll do that." And that's what I did all summer. We lived in Brant Rock, and I just
took pictures.
Got laid off in June. I'm like, it was the .com crash. There was nothing else going on job-wise. So I kind of roamed the shoreline and took photos. And these two images still sell. Yeah, especially the blue lobster tail. They were both in Brant Rock. So that's 20 years ago, 23 really, right? 2000. Yeah. And then the one with the moon was last year. So 23 years of images.
195 seems like a very reasonable.
Yeah, I mean when you think about it, because these are really like thick 8x12 prints. Yeah. So 100 of those, 120 or so. There's some vertical shots.
You got one of those in the collection too? Was that? But that's the process of just
the motion, intentional camera movement.
Yeah.
Slow shutter speed and like taking a picture of a race car when it blurs the background.
Yeah, Ellison shot us.
Exactly. She started a whole like that. Yeah, I think I saw some of hers in person on the Cape, and I'm like, that's. I did some back in the day. I did some in Nantucket. Just to mess around, because you just try to mess around with.
It's a cool color, exactly. Abstract,
And it's a good thing to do midday when the lighting is not really the best. Yeah. The more contrast in those motion blur photos, the better, because then you get more striations of color.
How did you decide on the placement of what one where?
I was just on some I laid out together next to each other, but it was just like. I design a lot of wedding albums. Yeah. So I kind of just filled it. And then, if they look too funky next to each other, I might have, because the book is meant to lay flat. Yeah. I might have moved it. I tried to maybe on some of them line up the horizon line. Yeah. But other than that, I picked similar colors. Nothing too crazy when it came to, you'd see the kind of.
So the wedding photography. The wedding photography
paid off a little bit. Yeah. Paved the way. But it was fairly easy because I wanted to go full page on each image. Wedding photography is like, you're designing a layout and then you're editing it 30 times when...
So what, one of the other things I always like to ask is like about another piece. I don't know, but not of your own, but of of maybe someone else.
Yeah.
That you admire, or somebody else that something else you own, or something that maybe even something that's here in the Jaws show.
Yeah.
To try to get like a little bit of an insight as to like what you like about art.
Sure. I'll bring over I'll grab a piece. John Fragassi's. Let's see.
My daughter's favorite one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So this is a somewhat new artist to the gallery. I met him. I didn't know him. I met him through a mutual friend, and I contacted him and I said, I heard your work is amazing. Let me see some of it. And he sent me some. I'm like, dude, this is unreal.
Yeah.
This is so it's oil painting. John Fragassi from the Cape. This is his people watching.
Yeah.
And he's like, to me, an elite artist when it comes to like skies and water. We've sold about 6 of his paintings so far, and there were some, I wish I had one to show you, where a lot of these are almost like impressionistic, but even when you get up close, sometimes when you get up close to an impressionist, it doesn't hold up. It's like, oh, okay, it's just a bunch of shapes, but whether you're far away or close to these, they work. There's something about it. But his way of creating the wet sand when the wave comes up and then kind of dissipates, and the water it looks like you could touch it and your hand would be wet. His skies are jaw-dropping. The pieces that we sold made sense. Those are the ones that we sold because his work is just unreal. So this is his people watching, and I said, John, you have to do something. Like, this is a scene from Jaws.
Yeah.
Do something like this and add a shark fin or something.
Yeah.
But he wound up doing an amazing great white.
Yeah.
And they're real people. It's not like, I didn't want to open up a stuffy gallery where it's like unobtainable or like you don't get to see the artist or meet them or that was the goal. If the artist showed up, people could talk to them. Oh, hey, I have something on the show, and then next thing you know, a lot of times images sell or paintings and art pieces sell because they like the artist or they got to meet them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's like a big part to me. Like, I think people need to know more about the artist. I think you get that connection all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it's
because it's personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose painting is that, or whose photo is that?
Yeah.
I met this guy. He's got a studio there. I went in and talked to him, and like a little bit, like a brief conversation with an artist. I think sometimes.
And it's like, if you don't come off as pretentious or like above everybody else or better than anybody else, I mean, it's all subjective. That's the one thing I learned having a gallery. It is absolutely subjective. I don't have it here, but that would have been a funny little story. But Max, my wife's cousin, he sent me some images. He's been dabbling. He's like my age, 50. I think he just turned 50, and he was dabbling in pastels. And he's a funny dude. His dad's funny. That side of the family, the Woodwards are such creative people. But he sent me some images. He sent me one. He sent me a text. He's like, "Can I identify as a 5th grader and enter your art show?" I'm like, he sent me the one. I'm like, Max, that might need a little work. I'm not one to, criticize anybody, but I was like, what else you got? I didn't go, no, this is embarrassing. I go, what else you got? And he sent me a picture of a shark. He reinterpreted the scene where Brody's chumming the water and the shark comes out. And he entered it. And he brought it up, and I'm like, it was an 8x10 drawing. I'm like, what do you want to sell it for? He's like, I don't know, $25. I'm like, dude, come on. $25. Yeah. He's like, I don't know. He goes, I was thinking maybe I'd even give it to my wife's parents to hang in their Florida house. And Max, come on. Let's 125.
Yeah.
He goes, you're kidding. I go, no, let's do it. It's your first piece.
Yeah.
And it was the first piece to sell on the show.
No kidding.
And I'm like, do you know Max, the lady who bought it? I'm like, you must know him.
Yeah.
She's like, who? I don't know who Max is. So she didn't know the artist.
Yeah.
Bought it, and then I told him. He was like, who bought it? Like, was it my aunt? Was it your wife's parents? I'm like, no, she doesn't know you. You don't know her. So he's got the bug now.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah. I'm going to bust out the pastels and keep it going.
Yeah, so it works on both ends
exactly,
too, right? Like,
yeah. The spark sometimes is, if the two sit, like that woman who sold and her husband hugged her and cried, had never done it before, sold a piece.
Yeah.
Max never entered a show, sold a piece. I'm like, here we go. Those two people just will, the world needs more art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. More art, more people making art,
exactly.
more people buying
more people
art.
Talking about it, drinking and coming together and having parties about it. Yeah, it's way better than any kind of news on TV. It's
great, man. I love what you're doing here. I'm excited about
I love the support. Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do. Everything, support the arts, support people that are, making art and buying art, help whatever way we can.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Awesome.
Cool.
Good to see you, Kjeld.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and keep the notifications turned on so you don't miss any of our future episodes, and you can learn more about the Frame Center Art Project.